Yeah. I fell down a rabbit hole. And it starts with a 42 millimeter grid that stacks in units that are 7 millimeters tall each. So this is a 1 by 1 by 3 box for this specification called Grid Infinity, as box fits perfectly in the grid. And then I could have another box that fits right beside it, and another box that can fit right beside it. And there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of different projects for putting stuff on this grid. Because it turns out that this grid is really good for organizing.
Okay, but that is a really small box.
It is a small box, but I can make bigger boxes that fit multiple grids.
But
But
but why
this,
why is that useful?
because
I can put a box on my desk.
this little box is great for organizing little tiny nuts.
But I can put the box on the table and not need a grid for it.
But this, with this box, with this lid on it, fits perfectly in the drawer of my toolbox.
Okay, but you don't need the grid. You can just put the box.
I could. So we cue the
What's the
music
point
there.
of the grid?
That's a good question. Just go watch. Just go watch Zach Friedman's Grid Infinity video. He probably explains a lot better than what I can.
Cue the music.
Hey guys, welcome to No Tux Allowed. I'm your host Josh, and today I'm wearing a gray T-shirt. You've seen it lots of times. Lots of times. It's not the same T-shirt. It is just one of many. In fact, I now have more gray T-shirts than white T-shirts.
Oh no!
I
Oh
know. I
no!
know.
Oh no!
And that there is my co-host Bigpod, who's wearing a blue shirt that says things on it, but I can't really read what it says because his camera's sitting too high.
Run for fun.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's that T-shirt.
yeah. It's that T-shirt. We've seen it before, but that's fine. That's not why our audience is here, because there's somebody in the audience that's wearing a beautiful plaid shirt, and I'm sure he's typing in the comments about how wonderful it is right now. But of course, we got to talk about MongoDB, Big Pod.
Yeah.
They hit the news in like the worst way possible with the CVE.
Yeah.
So on December 12th, 2025, the MongoDB's security engineering team identified a security vulnerability and got it listed as a CVE. Not, and it sort of flew under the radar for like the majority of
No,
people.
no, it didn't fly under the radar. It actually wasn't disclosed publicly
Ah,
until
right.
way after. It was in private disclosure
Right. It was in private
or
disclosure until,
embargo disclosure.
yeah,
Let's be clear.
until people decided that they wanted to play some video games and find out that the video games weren't working.
Yeah, but those two weren't connected apparently.
Oh,
Well, MongoBleed vulnerability, what it is named, as it is very similar to the old Heartbleed vulnerability of OpenSSL, came out on 25th of December, publicly, of course. It was disclosed under embargo before, but publicly it came out, as far as I remember, 25th. The same day, another big hack thing happened, or was it 26th? I don't like. I got those two dates mixed up.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Let's find out. So I'm just trying to find out. But
It's
essentially, what?
it's that one right there.
Which one?
That one. The one you were
Great.
just looking at.
That helped a lot.
You're welcome.
But but what happened was that they got hacked. This vulnerability came out, and everybody automatically connected these two together, which in reality they weren't connected from what it is apparent. And then the actors who were talking about who actually did it or who supposedly did it said they used this problem as a way to get in, but we're not. But based on latest information, that actually wasn't the case. But what happened with MongoDB's server security vulnerability called MongoBleed? It was actually day after Christmas.
Oh,
So yeah. But now let's talk about what actually is with MongoDB MongoBleed. So first of all, you should understand that MongoDB uses its own TCP protocol instead of HTTP or anything standardized, which is standardized for databases. So basically, our database uses its own wire protocol because they're trying to chase highest performance ever. For formatting of messages, they use something called BSON, BSON. It's essentially binary JSON.
okay.
It has some key optimizations, yada yada yada. MongoDB doesn't have endpoints or RPC calls. It has single opcode named op message, which contains the BSON message, and the contents of it denote what kind of request it is. It can be op compressed, which means it is compressed, but then it is when it is uncompressed, it becomes op message BSON. So this compressed size is the problem, and specifically there is a field in op compressed message called uncompressed size, which tells how large the payload is once it's uncompressed. The first part of the exploit is to get server to wrongfully think that an overly large op message is coming, so that to tell it that what is maybe 10 characters is actually like 100 characters, which can be done by this uncompressed size field in for let's say 1 kilobyte message is one megabyte message in quotation marks.
Right. And then
This will
somehow MongoDB would spit back some way, like a memory call or something that would just serve it back to the requester.
basically it allocates more memory than it needs, which then due to how it is done and everything about how it's doing things will bleed into some other memory space and allow you to pull in
Ah.
that memory.
Okay. Okay. So now that makes sense. Now that makes a little bit of sense. So, obviously they've already got this fixed. They
Yeah.
highly recommend that you update your systems, update your databases at least. I don't know
Yes.
the proper path to updating a MongoDB database simply because I've never had to manage one.
Most of the
Uh,
time that means updating your container.
yeah, yeah. If you're running it in a container, because some people
Yeah.
don't.
But there is a even more problematic part that most people do not get.
Uh oh.
This is only possible if you have direct access to the endpoint for MongoDB, to the actual port, and direct access to the service,
That's true.
which means it is only available whether if you are on a local network or if you are exposing your database to public internet, which honestly, I don't know what is wrong with you. You you need to have a API in between, and that needs to be not accessible to internet for myriad of reasons. One of them being you're gonna be hacked really easily, and this is just tip of the iceberg,
That is
which
true.
I've seen firsthand how quickly you get hacked if you expose your database to internet.
I mean, you got to remember,
But there,
like, a lot of times, like in the world of MySQL, for example, what's the my? It's not that difficult to figure out like a MySQL password. You can
yeah,
technically brute force it if you're patient enough. So
yeah,
so it's, and that makes it rather easy because I don't know if like a MySQL database can have like a two-factor authentication or anything tied to
no,
it.
no,
Yeah, it kind of figured that wouldn't be the case. But if you're running your service on the same host that like say your database is running, what's the point in having like an open firewall port? Just close it.
yeah.
Uh,
And even if you have, it's not just firewall port. It's like really just opening the service to like allowing to bind to that interface at that point is the question. Why are you allowing it to bind to 000 instead of the 127.0.0.1?
yeah.
But also, there is also one use case which I am of opinion that you're insane if you think that's a good idea, is that it allows clients to directly connect to the database, which is which since MongoDB is a web scale database, whatever that means, it allows you to like people think you should allow your clients, your web pages, web applications to directly connect to the database, which sorry but is insane.
It sounds insane, but I would imagine that there's probably some performance argument somebody could make there.
Yes, yes, but there isn't performance like the loss of performance is yes, huge loss of performance if you go proper route, but also increasing security because it is not just having like direct access to the socket essentially to the port. One thing you cannot do if you have directly public service, you cannot do any kind of input sanitization. And for that you have like in world of SQL, you have a famous Robert tables or Bobby tables. Have you ever heard of Bobby tables?
I think I've heard the name mentioned before, but I've never dealt with them myself.
Robert drop tables.
Yeah.
That's the joke. So essentially, the whole joke is that the parents named their child Robert drop tables star semicolon, so that when you get he gets inputted into like any kind of unsanitized input, all tables get dropped because that's how SQL injection happens. That's literally how SQL injection happens. That name is an SQL injection because it is injected in the middle of like actual search string. That's why you do not do a search string directly to the database. You actually have a API in between that takes the characters and makes them into a parameterized in some way, so it actually just as a single string, not as a like because the semicolon thing would make it automatically a new SQL statement which would execute, and since it's drop tables, it would drop all tables.
Hmm. Okay.
And there are certain things you could do with MongoDB in the similar way. While MongoDB isn't as how to say this, isn't as problematic with something like injections because it uses a different type of protocol. Doesn't use like a language or like it has a language, but not as well usable language as SQL. Remember, you're still leaving yourself open to any kind of client hitting your server, not just those you want to hit. That's why you put an API in between. It allows you to check what messages are actually there and then pass them on to the server. It is a good idea. Please do that.
Okay. So, let's move on from MongoDB there because heaven forbid that's a conversation that does kind of just go over my head right now. So, Bigpod, we got a big blog post from Cloudflare
Yeah,
in a
we do.
post statement for two different outages that happened over the course of less than I say what was it, a 2 week span that Cloudflare went down?
Something like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was one right after another. They did not have a good end to the year. So obviously, Cloudflare has decided that they run so much of the internet that when they go down, it really is a problem. Uh,
Yeah.
and so they came out with a plan called Code Orange colon small fail small, with the stated goal of making our network more resilient to errors or mistakes that could lead to a major outage. They note that they had declared Code Orange once before, back in April of 2024, when when one of their major data centers actually just lost power. I believe we actually talked about that on the show.
We might have.
I believe we did. Uh, Code Orange is already an existing protocol within Cloudflare. That means that hey, something bad is happening and it needs to be fixed in the range of now. And they're going to be a little bit less hesitant to declare that now, basically. And what this and they came out with this tool called let's see. I I remember the abbreviation is like HMD. Let's see if I can find out what's called. Health
Health
mediated.
mediated deployment.
Yeah, they're coming up with a system that monitors that HMD endpoints, of which as soon as it sees one of those go down, it's just going to automatically declare like this code orange fail small, and it's going to alert probably the staff the Cloudflare staff first before it gets declared like in a public channel. Give them
Yeah.
some time to see if it's a false positive. But they say that the Code Orange is organized into three main areas, which is rather than rolling out to everything at once, which Cloudflare is very famous for doing. They are now going to require a controlled rollout for any configuration change that is propagated to the network, just like they do today for the software binary releases. So, what they've done before is anytime that they would make a configuration change, it would just immediately apply to everything.
Yeah.
And now they're saying that hey, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to roll out to this area first, then this area, and just do it more steadily, which is a good thing. And then area 2 is to review, improve, and test failure modes on all systems handling network traffic to ensure they exhibit well-defined behavior under all conditions, including unexpected error states. So they're going to actually look at what's happening. And of course, change their internal break glass procedure, which we've already touched on. The goal is to avoid the quote Big Bang style change that they were previously doing. Now, why did Cloudflare originally uh, go on such an aggressive pace for like making like these changes? Uh, there's a couple
Mainly,
there's a couple reasons
there are a
for
couple
it.
reasons, yeah.
Yeah,
But mainly it's just to keep pace with the evolving state of internet, which can be, which and attackers, which can take probably like seconds to change sometimes.
right. You know, like maybe they just accidentally left an SSH port open that shouldn't be open, so they just immediately go in and they could just call up like say like a thing just disable the service or close the port or whatever. Uh,
It is more that they, for example, if you have an attacker that right now changes the pattern and you do not have a prepared plan for that pattern, you can implement that plan immediately instead of
yeah, that
having
too.
hours to do the planned rollout and so on. That's the main reason, more than anything in terms of services and stuff like
Right.
that.
That and another flip point is that from like a more consumer end for the people that purchase the domains and point them at their websites like you and I do, Bigpod. Cloudflare is
Yeah.
very famous for propagating that DNS information basically almost instantaneously,
Yep.
which that's going to slow down a little bit nowadays too, which is kind of a bummer. But if it's in the name of not a quarter of the internet going down twice in the same month, twice in a 1 month span, I think I can live with that.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. We do have a link to this entire blog post. It is massive, and I always recommend that if you're curious on like this stuff, the Cloudflare blog is always worth the read. Like actually, uh, this one is probably one of the best ones that they've written up in a while. So just go ahead and give that a read because Bigpod. I opened up Ars
What?
Technica today in the RSS reader, and they got me with the clickbait. They got
Really?
me. They got me. Here's the headline for the article. As internet enshitification marches on, here are some of the worst offenders. You know, like
Okay.
almost like a top 10 style list. The R staff definitely got me with this one because I was kind of curious, and of course, the number one is smart TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Of course.
smart TVs have gotten more cancerous over the years because let's see, what was it? Vizio was the first one to really make like the truly affordable smart TV, and they got to the point where they're cramming so many ads down your throat on their television service. It's insane. Like I've got a Roku TV here in my house, of which I turned on all the blockers for Pi-hole to block their telemetry data because everybody just didn't feel like sharing that with Roku. And the TV would send so many requests that would actually effectively DDoS my Raspberry Pi and take down my whole DNS
Interesting.
network. So
Interesting.
I had to allow at least a couple of things through. I'm not happy about it. But and here's the thing about the smart TVs too, right? Like the UIs have gotten worse for them. And I don't know if it's like poor optimizations or if the hardware is just that bad that they're putting into them, but they're feeling much more sluggish. Much on the like the newer models. That
Interesting.
that said though, the trade-off is that the benefits of like these smart TVs being what they are, if buying a brand new TV today is probably like the best picture quality you could probably get uh, at,
Yeah.
compared to like any other point in time for like television. at like the price points, because this is the for some reason TVs just seem to be inflation proof. I don't know why.
Yeah.
The next one is Google's voice assistant. This is not Gemini. This is the old school Google Assistant. I remember when Google Assistant first came out, and it was actually good. Like, do you remember that, Big Pod? Or did you just never mess around with the
Uh,
assistants?
I don't really mess around with assistants that much.
Ah, okay, okay. But I remember it was like 2016, 2017 or so. Like, I could, call Google Voice Assistant or just Google Assistant and, shout at it to like call a friend or call like a family member's phone. It would just immediately go and call them. Nowadays, it just doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Like, and then I can summon it and ask it to give me directions to like this place, and it gives me directions on how to get to to a place that doesn't even sound similar name wise on like the other side of the planet. It's like I don't understand what's going on, and switching from the Google Assistant to Gemini on my phone has not been better,
Interesting.
right? Of course, Ars Technica will also talk about like the smart home integration too, which if I thought like the phone experience was bad, it I can't imagine like the Google Home thing. Uh, Now here's one that hits probably a little bit closer to home to you for you, Big Pod, right? You remember when the portable document format came out, the PDF format came out?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be
Yeah.
a write once file that was replicatable on any other system because it could not be changed.
Yeah.
Like I could make a PDF that would embed the fonts that I picked for it with all the images that I picked for it with in all the right formatting that I set for it and share it with you, and you would get a carbon copy of what I put out. That was not a thing
Yeah.
back then. That happened with file formats before then. So Adobe, who created the portable document format, did a pretty good job there. But nowadays, we have to have elaborate formatting, right? Which means that now we can change the PDFs. We can sign them. We can type new numbers into different fields. We can change different fields of text now.
Yeah.
And nowadays PDFs are just terrible. Like actually,
Yep.
in like every experience. And then let's talk about a thing here that's killed like most of the excuses for me to watch a TV. Televised sports have also gotten worse, especially here in the United
Interesting.
States, where we very recently, you know, allow not even a couple years ago, allowed just like online gambling to exist. So we have this massive problem in American sports right now, where teams are maybe not playing optimally or playing over optimally. Like players maybe stretching out too far and not playing in line with the team just to pad their stats so they could win more money on bets and stuff like that. But that's not the worst part about it, because let's talk about professional cycling.
Yeah.
Cyclists, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm gonna say my experience is a completely different one than what I read here.
Yeah.
with watching professional cycling.
So, uh, a media company called Global Cycling Network purchased the rights to stream every professional cycling race in Europe,
Yes,
right?
yes. For those of you who do not know, essentially, for those of us European, you're probably right now looking a bit weird because you don't know GCN, you don't know Global Cycling Network. Even if you watch professional cycling, you know, a couple of years ago there was on Eurosport, which is where you probably watched, because where else was it? Oh, it happened on Eurosport. There was Eurosport, and then there was another logo right underneath it that says GCN in gray color. Yeah, that GCN. And essentially, not really last year, GCN logo disappeared. Wanna know why? Because they finally started consolidating everything. Because guess what? They had the same owner anyway.
Yeah, it turns out that, Warner Bros.
Yes,
Happened to own GCN,
yeah.
and it
So
was under
does
the
so they do own Eurosport as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they consolidated everything into Disney Plus, which I don't
No, they
know.
didn't. Not Disney
Well,
Plus.
at least here in the U.S., they did.
Discovery Plus.
Or yeah, Discovery Plus. That's right. That's
That's
right.
the I believe
Yeah.
UK and US
No,
service. Everybody else might know it as in most of Europe might know it as HBO Max,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which they're actually two different services. I believe in some countries you can have both, but for me and for my part of the Europe, it is only on HBO Max, and it isn't so bad as it says here.
Right. But here's the best part, right? It's different here in the United States. Cause guess who
Yeah, I
get
bet.
guess who streams the cycling races here in the United States? It's not
Who?
GCN.
And who?
Well, it turns out that if I wanted to watch every single race in the United States, I would need to sign up for a separate subscription for HBO Max, Peacock, and another one called Flow Bikes.
Wow.
The total, the total annual price without the ads, because we don't want the additional ads on these platforms. $550 US in total. If I didn't
Really?
want to miss a single race. Watching professional football is so much cheaper.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But of course,
But I do
of
love
course,
my professional cycling.
yeah,
Go Tadej Pogacar. Go Primoz Roglic.
yeah. Now it gets even better, right? Because
Does it?
this year it's Europe's turn. In many countries, fans must now subscribe to TNT Sports at a price of of what?
I think that's only
30,
UK.
yeah, £31 a month. I mean, that might just be UK. I don't know about.
Yeah, 30.99 pounds a month. That means it's UK price in
Yeah, so
UK
you're
money.
paying the equivalent of $450 US a year, which includes the Tour de France,
Yes.
which is no
Let
longer
me
going to be
you
broadcast
how
on free
much?
television.
Oh, since when? I bet it's
It's
still gonna
starting
be on
this year.
Eurosport. I
That's what they're saying.
highly doubt that. Highly doubt it because Eurosport is still Eurosport. They and GCN own all the rights. I know that as far as I know, also Eurosport own a lot of the price. But for me, in my country of Slovenia, I pay $168 a month, 68 euros a month to get access to HBO Max, which has all the sports you can think of. That is Europe relevant, because anything
Yeah.
that is on Eurosport is on HBO Max, and I don't think they will go off it, because guess what? Then I'm not gonna be able to pay because TNT Sports doesn't exist here.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
and for
it,
example, Like, I believe it is in UK and a few other places. Eurosport was renamed to TNT. Not where I am, not majority of Europe, as far as I understand.
Yeah, it's gonna be a confusing mess, at least from my perspective. I'm
Uh,
sure it'll make complete sense for you, but there's a couple thousand miles between you and me. so,
yeah.
and of course, Formula One is no better because heaven forbid I cannot watch a Formula One race besides clips unless I want to pay the subscription for Formula One. Uh, and of course, they've been reporting a significant drop in viewership over the last 15 years since they enabled this subscription service. Uh,
Well, fun thing is, starting next year, Formula One for me will be on free TV
I wish I could get on a
in
free
my
TV.
language, with commentary in my language.
All right, now here's something that you and I have both made an excellent use of. Google search has also gotten worse.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You remember when Google said "Don't be evil"?
Yes.
Now, how many ads are in a typical Google search big pod? Do you know how much SEO spam
No.
is in Google search? That, like, it's gotten so much worse. So much worse just this year alone. Especially with, like the AI summaries being added on top of it, which a lot of times it's an okay summary, but sometimes you're just wondering where the fuck it even got that information from.
Okay, I got information regarding the previous topic.
Oh,
It
oh.
is only UK that has that Eurosport was folded. So I think all of that only applies to UK, because only. So I think everywhere else we're gonna be just fine.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm glad it's just fine for you.
At least based on what I'm reading here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But of course, Google search has gotten worse, but so have the email tools as well. With all the AI integrations being built into like these email services, the one that ours calls out specifically is Gmail, where Gmail would want to plug in and come up with like their little prompt of come up with like a little automatic reply for like scheduling, and it declares itself as a creative writing aid, but is not dismissible.
Huh, interesting.
It even includes a disclaimer at the bottom of the little pop-up window, but it cannot be dismissed.
Great.
And of course, we can also talk about Windows 11. Uh,
Oh, great.
yeah, yeah. The TPM requirement, the Windows 10 rug pull from how Windows 10 was originally advertised, uh, and so on. We can talk about that for days. We've talked about it plenty of times, but there's also bits of Windows 11 that people have some real big problems with. Like, why the fuck does the file manager take so long to open sometimes? I've heard lots of problems about Windows File Manager lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of problems. And other just bugs that just seem to pop up out of nowhere. Uh, Broken updates for people. Hardware device, USB compliant, US devices no longer just working. Video games, just not working anymore. Microsoft went as far as proclaiming 2025 the year of the Windows 11 PC refresh. But the only reason why they can make that
Really.
statement is because they dropped support for Windows 10, only to give everybody security updates for a year after reaching that end of life date. And of course, we gotta talk about the big giant in the room, social media services.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
general web discourse
Just
has gone
any
down the drain.
anywhere anybody can just openly post something on the internet, right?
Yeah.
It has gotten so much worse. So I use Facebook because it's how my family chooses to communicate. So I'm kind of forced to use Facebook, right? I open up like the Facebook app on or like the web page. I can't find a single post from anybody that's on like my follows until like I scroll past 15 to 20 posts because there's so much advertising being injected, so much with their like their video reels that are being injected with their suggested people to follow being posted up in there. And there is so much AI generated garbage going on that website right now that I'm glad that the first thing I do is open up Facebook and go to the marketplace or go to Messenger because that's all I use it for these days.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid if you accidentally click on one of those ads while you're trying to hit the Messenger button, but it doesn't register you're clicking the proper on the proper place on the web page because heaven forbid they have to intercept that traffic somehow too for the sake of their telemetry,
Yeah.
which then
Well,
pops up
but you
which pops up this super annoying Facebook message because when you receive a Facebook message, it steals focus from like the Facebook general page to focus onto the message window, and it prompts over to that random advertiser just sending you a message going like, "How can we help you today?" Uh, you dismiss it, and then so many minutes later, it pops back up with that same request going like, "Hey, we didn't hear back from you. How can we help you today? We really insist that you buy our product." It gets really annoying really
yeah.
fast.
But remember, it's definitely not as bad as LinkedIn.
I refuse to look at LinkedIn. Ever since AI
Yes.
became available to everybody, I have not gone to LinkedIn willingly.
I still go because well, I have to if I wanna have a job or something like that. But the fact that you get sponsored messages in your inbox is just insane to me. And it says with bold letters sponsored.
Yeah. I
And
never
of
liked
course all the AI crap
yeah.
that is in the feeds.
Yeah, so I've never really enjoyed LinkedIn to begin with because
Neither have I.
it's always been the one social media, but the big benefit of LinkedIn is that it's the one social media service where everybody is positive, right?
Yeah.
That is a blanket truth, so you know that's a fucking lie.
Also,
uh,
it is the best job board. You cannot doubt that, at least for us in IT.
I do not doubt that at all, and I'm sad that that is the
Yes.
case. Of
Yes.
course, we can talk about YouTube because technically YouTube is a social media service. That's how it
Technically, yes.
advertises itself. It's not a video stream or anything like that. It's a social media service. That's how they managed to get away with so much stuff. But uh, how many off the wall videos just randomly pop up in like your shorts feed, Big Pod?
Huh.
Have you looked at shorts?
I look at shorts, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes.
Some of the stuff that pops up in there is just so insane.
Yeah.
Or you get like the heaven forbid if here's a big one right now. If like I'm a history YouTuber, there is no way in heck that I'm running a profitable channel right now, right? Because there is so much AI spam in just like history storytelling, right?
Yeah.
That it's kind of it's insane. Like there's it it's terrible.
And a lot of clips on shorts is just really stolen content with a side of some other video like of a
Oh,
game being
right,
played or
right, right.
something.
Right. A lot of times you'll see like somebody watching like they call them react shorts where they'll just
Yeah.
have like a clip of, a guy saying a thing, and then you'll have like the guy in like the bottom left or bottom right corner going like, "Uh-huh," just nodding their head, and that's it.
Yeah, or literally just half a screen of video, half a screen, I don't know, some mobile game that, like Temple Run or whatever it's called, and that's it. And most of the time, the first side, the left side, that is the actual video, isn't even owned by the creator of the short.
Yeah, that is blatant copyright infringement. Sorry to say.
Yes,
That is not React. There is no creative use being applied there. Uh,
even the nodding guy ain't reacting.
yeah, yeah.
There needs to be transformation to the video,
There does need to be
or a
transformation.
direct reaction of it, where it needs to be to fall in fair use, which just nodding isn't it. You haven't done it anything substantive. We're not lawyers, but
Well, yeah, we're not lawyers, but
yeah, we're
but
not lawyers.
I will file those DMCA claims against you if you do that with
Yes,
any of my personal content, or even like our content here on this show. Technically, you have to you there is a copyright on our show.
yeah,
Yes, our license is Creative Commons, but Creative Commons can only get you so far. Because
yep.
at some point you will still be in violation. But let's move on to another topic that's maybe a little bit more positive, because heaven forbid, we got the latest update to the Steam hardware survey, and Linux has gone up yet again. We have reached another all-time high back in November with, honestly, it's a drop of 0.01%. So I'm just gonna say that we maintained our spot for for market share for this month. Um,
Yeah,
Steam on Linux ends the year at 3.19% market share. However, AMD
which is up
CPU
almost 1%
almost.
from 2023
That
or yeah,
that is
2024.
that is true. That is true.
Year
Uh,
over year improvement.
yeah, year over year improvement. Arch Linux is now the most popular distro that's actually cited on the survey, rather than just
Yeah,
Linux. Uh, so Ubuntu's fallen pretty hard there.
yeah.
Probably has something to do with the fact that when you go to install Steam through like the Ubuntu App Store, it installs it as a snap, which is why you see Ubuntu Core 22 show up on the Steam
Yeah, I
store.
was like, what is Ubuntu Core 20,
Yeah,
twenty
that's
twenty
the snap
twenty
package.
two? And then I remembered that's the core for their base snap package. That's the base 22.
Yep. So that's why you get that. I'm surprised to see Fedora show up on there.
Well,
Maybe that's how Bazite reads.
maybe I highly doubt Bazite, because if you look at the next image, Bazite is clearly clearly shown.
Ah, Bazite is shown. Okay, okay. So they are modifying FC
Yeah,
host. Okay. So
yeah, they are.
yeah. So
I
this
believe then I don't know. Yeah, I believe that was like last year or something, last month or something was the one we're talking. No, this is the split between the actual Linux distros, I think, not just the not just the split within Linux, but that's just Linux distro split, because as you see how much numbers are actually different.
Yeah, that said, if we look at like the breakdown of the different Linux distros, one noticeable thing is that SteamOS Holo is actually down 6%.
Yeah,
Like maybe people are just turning off their Steam decks and switching, sw- using Steam more on their desktops for the holiday season. That's like the only thing I can really think of.
yeah, and interestingly, 5.7% is free desktop SDK 2508, which is a Flatpak runtime.
Yeah, which is how I personally run Steam these days, is through the Flatpak.
Same.
Yeah. The only
Same.
reason not to use the Flatpak for Steam right now is that you want the VR support, because the VR support doesn't work through the Flatpak still, which
Yeah.
I believe that they are working on a portal for that. I think there's a submission for it. It just needs to be approved.
Or if you want 1% higher FPS, because there is some problem in what things it tries to access in terms of syscalls. That one of the security solutions for that is used by Flatpak is actually blocking some of the syscalls, which lowers the performance by 1%. Oh no,
Oh no.
I'm so sad. 1%. Oh no.
I mean, I'll just be happy that it works. I won't care about the 1%.
Yeah.
Of course, let's talk about the hardware choices here. Authentic AMD CPU is rocking at 70, almost 72%
Yeah.
on the Linux desktops. It is still 47% on the Windows side, so they haven't overtaken Windows, but it is gaining on both still gaining. Overall,
Yep.
GPUs make up a 21% market share under Linux, of course, which makes sense because it is the default GPU choice for the Steam Deck and presumably the Steam machine as well. That still isn't out yet, but Linux users in general, just that are like building modern day computers, probably bought an AMD GPU because they didn't want to fiddle with the NVIDIA driver. And honestly, AMD's good enough for video games.
Yeah.
Of course, I use Intel Arc, so what am I supposed to know? So,
Well, let me tell you. You might be not even there. It's probably under. What would be under?
well, if we go to steampowered.com and we look at GPU share,
I know I am under Iris Xe graphics, so I am 2.6%.
I am Intel Arc at 0.32%.
There is an arc.
Yeah, Intel Arc.
Oh, A770, yeah. 0.2%, yeah.
Yep.
I have Iris Xe, so I am 2.6%.
Yeah, and it turns out that the most common GPU model is the Intel UHD Graphics 730. Your standard
Yeah.
built-in graphics for, a laptop that was built 3 to 4 years ago. Somewhere around there, I think, was that range. So, understandable. People just want to play like their side scrollers or their Counter Strikes.
But let me tell you, once you go a bit into all combined, so including Windows and macOS, you gain your graphics gains a bit.
Oh
It
yeah.
becomes about 0.3%.
Yep. And the average core count equals to about 6 CPU cores.
Yeah.
System memory 16 gigs. Primary display resolution still 1920 by 1080, with a multi-monitor resolution of 3840 by 1080, so triple monitors. Not double monitors, triple monitors. With an average free hard drive space of 100 to 249 gigs, with a total hard drive space of just over a terabyte. The most
Above a terabyte.
Yeah, the most popular VR headset has been the MetaQuest 3. Makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
makes
cheap.
sense.
It's cheap.
Cheap and good.
Yep. And that's really about what we get out of the Steam hardware survey.
Yeah.
I mean, we can delve deeper into numbers, but the numbers provided by the Steam hard survey, you can't really take them like super seriously because we don't really know exactly how they calculate these numbers or how often they calculate. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I have one detail that is actually interesting.
Oh, what would that be?
On Linux, there exist at least few devices that have less than 10 gigabytes of total hard drive space.
Oh,
0.03% of all devices have 0.0 have less than 10 gigabytes of space, total space, not just free space.
I wonder if they're running Steam in some containerized fashion that doesn't expose hard disk
That
access.
that to me sounds, but so little. That to me, either they are in some sort of very restrictive container, or they are in some sort of a VM where they then mount storage
I
in a
mean,
way that doesn't appear as hard drive
that
space.
that would make sense. I mean, I personally mount my Steam library over an NFS share.
And I think that would actually not appear as hard drive, which
That
makes sense
yeah,
if you think about it. Makes sense if you're running as a VM, you and if you have as minimal system as possible, you may actually be able to run with 10 gigabyte rootfs.
theoretically possible on Linux. Yeah, that could be the
Yeah,
case. I've seen, heaven forbid, there is a distro called Damn Small Linux, and it fits.
Rem- uh,
It fits on a
remember,
CD disk still.
remember, if you have, how big is the Flatpak? I'm not actually want a number. I'm just saying that how big is Flatpak? All you need to add to it is essentially the kernel and something to and a display server or a compositor.
That's true.
That's all you need.
Minimum viable graphical stack right there.
That's literally minimum viable system for your for your what's it called, for your Steam. And
Yep.
remember, on the other hand, Ubuntu, minimum viable Ubuntu without the kernel is about 70 megabytes. But that doesn't have display or anything. It's just server. 70 megabytes, minimum viable.
Yeah, I remember when Ubuntu published that mini ISO, how insanely small it was. So, uh, Bigpod, if people want to get in contact with us, how do they do that?
Contact tuxbase.com or check out our Discord server.
Oh, by going to tuxbase.com/discord, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a link for that in the show notes, just in case you're too lazy to type it. Just in case. Just in case. Because I've been on a bit of a anti-typing kick lately. Lots and lots of
Really.
mouse movement. I don't know why. Oh, of course. If you would like to support the show, support our insane way that we run the services for our show, because it's only going to get crazier after this. Go to patreon.com/notuxallowed. If you fund us, you fund our crazy ideas. Just
Yeah.
letting you know. Of course, we also have our own YouTube channels, Big Pod, of which,
Yeah.
believe it or not, my video has managed to finish processing. It will be out next week.
Really.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
And I may stream this weekend.
Next week, not when we're recording this episode, but after this episode publishes.
Oh.
Yeah.
By the time this episode will publish, I'll already be maybe streaming
That's true. That's true.
again.
That said,
So I'll be streaming this weekend.
That said, I think I'm only gonna be doing like bi-weekly videos. Just give me some time to get back into the grind set, of the weekly video. But I'm still gonna be releasing everything on Thursdays at 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time.
And I'll be streaming whenever I feel like it.
That's true. That's true. That said, I don't know when distro hacking is gonna come back. But
But will it come back?
maybe it might not be a weekly show, because heaven forbid, it got a little grind there on the every single week doing like a multi 12+ hour stream.
Yeah.
That got
I don't know why it was that long.
it's because we installed Gen 2.
Multiple times You could hear somebody in the background snoring, and that was me.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, anyways, Bigpod, I'm going to see you next week.
Same.
All right.
And time for me to go reinstall my operating system.
Yeah, you're going to distro hop, and I'm probably also going to be like doing a reinstall because heaven forbid, Dolphin is not playing friendly with me right now. See ya.
Have a nice day. Goodbye.